Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my April 2024 TBR. Now, I actually think I'm going to get through all of the books on my TBR in April because there's not that many, but also because I left some room because I'm trying to get through some tomes, but I'm not saying what the tomes are in my TBRs because I don't want to promise a book and then not even get to it for like a couple months. So I'm working on tomes separately, these really long, like 1,000-page novels separately, but I have 9 books to discuss this month. 3 of them are new releases, 6 of them are older released books. So let's see if I can get to all of them. So first, let me talk about the new releases. The first new release, which is one of my most anticipated books of the year, is John Jackson Miller's Star Wars novel, The Living Force, which releases in April. This is a novel following the Jedi Council as it's dealing with some stuff in the prequel era. It's set right before, or not right before, but a little bit before the events of Episode 1. It's being released as part of the 25th anniversary of The Phantom Menace. And John Jackson Miller is my favorite media tie-in fiction author, one of my favorite Star Wars authors. He is a terrific writer, and I've loved, like, his novel Kenobi is my favorite Legends novel, my favorite Star Wars novel overall, and his other Star Wars novel that he wrote for the canon, which is A New Dawn, is just a terrific and underrated book. And so he really writes some terrific stuff, John Jackson Miller. And so I cannot wait to read that book when it comes out in April. Also releasing for Star Wars in April is a really short story collection that's coming out by George Mann called Tales of Enlightenment. This is I think it's only like 94 pages. So calling it a book is generous, but it releases in April and I intend to read it in April. This is a High Republic short story collection, so I'll be reading this when it comes out, and it should take me like a day at most. I'll like pack that in with another reading thing that day, and I'm really excited to get to it. The third and final book releasing in the month of April that I intend to read is an original science fiction novel written by Kevin J. Anderson called Persephone. He wrote it with a guy named Jeffrey Morris. Basically, Jeffrey Morris wrote this screenplay for a movie that he wants to produce, and he's working on getting Hollywood to produce the movie. But he's getting some snags in Hollywood. So what he did was he teamed up with Kevin J. Anderson, who advised him on the script in the movie, and they turned it, Kevin did, into a novel. They turned it into a novelization. And so the novel is set to come out. But they are doing this through a Kickstarter. So the Kickstarter was way back in last year. I think it was like October-ish, maybe September last year. They did the Kickstarter. And it was mildly successful to my memory. And so I signed up for the Kickstarter. It's the first ever Kickstarter I've participated in, and I'm getting a paperback version of the book, which is supposed to come out in April. That's what Kevin's been promising, and he sends like weekly emails to the people who backed the project, and it seems like he's going to hit that. And Kevin's pretty consistent about hitting release dates. If it gets pushed back, it gets pushed back, but I think we're going to make it. So I'm really excited to read that original science fiction novel. Kevin's first original science fiction novel in quite a while. I think it's his first in like 7 years or 8 years. It's been a while. So those are the 3 new releases. Let's talk about the previously released books that I intend to read in April. I have one Legends novel from Star Wars. It's a really short one, Death Troopers by Joe Schreiber. This is supposed to be kind of a Star Wars horror book. I know people who have read this and love it. They talk about it all the time. Anytime anything with like zombies is referenced in Star Wars, they're like, Death Troopers! Or sometimes Red Harvest. But anyway, I'm excited to read this. It'll be a quick read. I'll probably get it done in like a day. It's only, like 270 pages. That should be a quick read. I also have one Star Trek book on the list this month. I would have 2, but I don't know what our plans are for the podcast that I'm part of, so I decided only put one on the schedule, and then if I need to do a second one, I'll do a second one. But the novel is Taking Wing. It's the first of the Titan novels. This is by Michael A. Martin and Andy Mangels. I have been collecting some of the Titan novels. I want to get into them because I like some of the characters involved, and I like, of course, reading Star Trek novels. And this is the first one, so I'm excited to get into this. I've heard that this is like the TOS feeling, but set in the TNG era, because it's set after the events of Nemesis. So I'm excited to read Titan. Then I have some fantasy novels to read. One is Dragon's Bane by Barbara Hambly. I picked it up for a couple of reasons. One, that gorgeous cover. I mean, that cover is just fantastic. Is this a Michael Whelan cover? I'm going to look that up real quick because that feels like that'd be good to know. Yes, this is a Michael Whelan cover. So this is Barbara Hambly, Dragon's Bane. The primary reason I want to read this, though, is because Brandon Sanderson says this is the first novel that jump-started his love for reading, and he credits this for getting him into the fantasy genre. And so I'm very excited to get into this. It's a really short book for a epic fantasy. It's only like 330 pages, so it shouldn't be that long or hard to get into. But I am excited to read Dragon's Bane. I also have a longer fantasy novel titled Wraith Bound from the Spiritbinder saga by Tim Akers. I read a Tim Akers book last year, and I've been getting into more Bane books. This is a Bane Books book. This book won the Dragon Award for Best Cover, I believe, or was nominated. It was nominated for Best Cover. It didn't win. I think another Bane book actually won. But this book, I actually have the trade paperback version and the mass market paperback for a variety of reasons. And so I'm going to read it in the mass market version. Plus, it kind of fits the theme I was going in my physical books. This one's a bit longer in mass market. It's like 600 pages, so it's going to be a more beefy book to read this month. But I think I'm up to the challenge. And I'm really hoping I enjoy this. I've been told there's like similarities to Brandon Sanderson, so I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about that, but we'll see. Next, I have a John Grisham legal thriller book titled The Appeal. I don't know anything about this book other than it's John Grisham and a legal thriller, and I love both of those. And it's set, of course, in Mississippi, where he sets most of his books. And this one's decent length, about 450 pages, but for Grisham, that's pretty average, and I should fly through that. So I'm excited to get to that book. The final book is the one I'm most nervous about because this is a controversial book, and that is God, Emperor of Dune. Yes, I practically swore off the Dune sequels after I read Dune Messiah and Children of Dune and didn't care for either, but I am just becoming such a big Dune nerd with the new Dune movies that have come out and reading all the prequels by Brian and Kevin, which are very different, by the way, than Frank's work. But I was like, you know what? I'm feeling in the mood. I'm going to try to get into this. So we'll see what happens with this. For those of you who are like, hey, you don't have your YA book that you have been having, I got ahead on YA reading and decided if I need to put one of the Twilight books on here, I will. But if not, I'll save that for May. But those are the books that I intend to read in the month of April here. A decent reading swath of books: science fiction, fantasy, media tie-in fiction for Star Trek and Star Wars, and legal thriller. So if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Which ones are you excited for? Are you going to read The Living Force or Persephone or Tales of Enlightenment? Let me know those thoughts in the comments section down below. And until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.